To remain updated with the latest business news, click on the bell icon.
On this episode of Tech Today, we have the grand, exclusive unboxing of the Galaxy S22 Ultra.
You had it for 3 weeks.
That's also a fair point. We've had it for a while, so we want to ensure that we do this Tech Today style and actually see if this is a true bang for your buck and whether, if you're an Apple fanboy or like some other brand, well, can you break away from that ecosystem and pick up this device? Because it's not cheap, but is it a true bang for your buck? All that and more on Tech Today. On unboxing the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra, you realize that this is a premium flagship unboxing experience, much like the iPhone. And then when you have a look at the phone in this burgundy color especially, you realize that they've put a lot of time and money in actually figuring out the design language and figuring out the camera systems. But we'll save the cameras for the last bit of this video. What we will focus on initially is the design and build quality. It's very premium. It's, well, very interesting that they've gone with these sharp edges, but sometimes they could be a little uncomfortable if you don't have a cover. Literally, you could use this to cut a cake because it has very, very sharp edges, much like a knife. But then it has a curved display. The S21 Ultra, which was released last year, seemed to be one of the best looking phones in the smartphone industry. But this one has done away with that pocket-like housing system for the cameras. I think that this particular one is, well, a mixed bag of emotions. If you like it, you love it. If you don't, well, then this is going to put you off completely. Also, there's a fear if you have this sort of OCD when you're placing it on a hard surface. Are you scratching? Well, the camera system, we've taken this to the mountains, we've taken this to the beaches, and there don't seem to be any scratches yet. But if you're getting this device, just to be on the safer side, it might be better if you get a nice cover. And there's quite a few cool covers about it. But that's the whole thing, right? Is this a device for S22 or the S series lovers of Samsung, or the guys who want to compete with the iPhones? Or is this a replacement of the Samsung Galaxy Note series? Well, it seems like Samsung has merged the lines, and all the cool features that you get from the S line, which is a great camera system, the good looks and display and the processor, they're all there. And then, of course, you have the utilitarian productivity features that come with the S Pen. And the S Pen is hugely improved. Samsung promises a far lower latency on this. What that means in simple language is that if you're writing notes on this, one, it feels amazing, there's no lag. And of course, it feels like you're writing on a piece of paper on quite a massive display as well. It's got these quick note features. You can use this as a remote control as well. A lot of functionality. And if you think this is just a gimmick, and if you're not into the Note line or you don't believe in the Apple pencils and the styluses of the world, well then remember that this comes hooked up right here in the body. You don't even have to know that it exists. You can use it when you want to. And the most important thing, if you're looking for value for money, this is not an additional, well, cost that you have to incur. It comes with the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra, and that can be a game changer for a lot of us. This is the sort of functionality no iPhone user has. No other, well, Chinese manufacturer gives this as well. Samsung does it, and Samsung does it really well, and they've done it yet again. Well, journalists and influencers would have you believe that it's always Apple versus Samsung, but these two guys have one similarity, and the 120Hz bright and punchy OLED displays that you now enjoy on the 13 Pro and the 13 Pro Max are also, of course, on the Samsung flagships. In fact, Samsung is the manufacturer who makes the displays for both these phones. These ones on the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra get a lot brighter than the iPhones, and there is one reason why Samsung takes the cake when it comes to displays. Of course, it looks great just like the iPhone, but it's the more immersive experience. That's because of the way they've decided to go with a punch hole camera, much unlike, well, the iPhones who have this sort of panel over here, which really is for Face ID and really needs to catch up to the other guys in 2022. This punch hole camera means while you're watching content, it's just a tiny punch hole over there, a far more immersive experience, and kudos to Samsung for that one as well. Well, last year's S21 Ultra was the undisputed king when it came to smartphone cameras, and I know you're waiting for the verdict on the S22 Ultra as well, but wait for it, the best is yet to come at the end of this review. when it comes to what Samsung has gotten right with this phone is how they've appeased their fans, because they were really angry here in India and in other parts of the world where Samsung's flagship devices were coming with an Exynos chipset. That's the weaker one. They finally, and this is good news, have come to India with the S22 Ultra, and this one is going to have a Snapdragon 8. That might make it almost as powerful as the omnipotent Apple A15 Bionic chip, which everyone keeps talking about. And in terms of user performance for everyday activities, there won't be much of a difference in the iPhone 13 Pro, Pro Max and the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra. Well, we've spoken so much about hardware and all the stuff on the outside. Let's talk a little bit about software as well. I was never a fan personally of how Samsung interpreted Android, and I really wanted, well, Samsung to get it right to really take on iOS. But Android has inherent advantages over iOS in terms of how you can move things around, whether you want to move an icon, even in terms of how the camera system works, and of course the freedom that comes with Android as well, but it's not part of that ecosystem. So that's taken away when you're on an Android device, and Samsung has taken away something which is very important in terms of how they interpret Android, which is all the bloatware. There's not that unnecessary stuff on it. In fact, there's some nifty features like this shortcut menu and of course the usage of this S Pen. They've gotten it right. They've also done a lot on the camera side when it comes to software. Samsung has gotten a lot better and is really leveraging all its hardware capabilities to take on iPhone. I think, well, this is a version of Android based on Android 12 that I can certainly get used to. Well, now the moment you've all been waiting for, the Samsung Galaxy camera versus the iPhone cameras. Which one is better? Which one comes out on top? What's the selfie camera like? What's the stabilization like? Look, I can give you all that yarn, but I thought you should hear from an expert. Here's our resident camera wizard, Manish Mathur, and he's going to tell you which of these two could replace, well, a professional camera.
So S22 Ultra has this director's view, which is quite nice, and it also has 100x zoom. And during shooting a video, you can swap between your rear camera and front camera, which is quite a nice feature which iPhone doesn't have. So for blogging and Instagram, iPhone is a better option because it optimizes the video quality. And if we want to do some professional work, then Samsung S22 Ultra is a better choice because it has a lot of professional features in it.
Well, there you have it in a nutshell. If you're spending more than 1 lakh rupees and are part of the Apple ecosystem or are a fanboy, then you continue buying your iPhones. But if you want a true contender, a true rival to the iPhone, and the best that money can buy when it comes to an Android phone, the answer is simple. It is the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra. 1 year of waiting? See, I know this is one of India's most sought after, most wanted cars, and yes, it's an Indian manufacturer that has come up with the Mahindra XUV700. You guessed it right, but what I'm trying to figure out is, what's all the fuss about that it warrants 1 year of waiting on this SUV, this made in India SUV? Actually, if you're a tech geek, is there more to that car than just being, well, an SUV? It's tech loaded, and of course, it comes with features which are the first of its kind in its segment. That's what we wanted to find out on Team Tech today.
Why are people willing to wait up to 1 year to get this car? What's so special? ADAS, driver assistance systems. Mahindra's bragging about it, everyone's talking about it, but I want to find out, does it really make sense or is it just a gimmick? Let's get into the XUV700, lots to talk about. This is the first thing that greets you as soon as you interact with this car. The moment you unlock it, they pop open, and that's how you get into the car. Second thing, as soon as you open it, you'll find these seats backing up for you. The moment I sit in them, you'll see them coming back to their original position. I'll need to close the door for that. And now you see the seat coming back in front. The first thing that I noticed was this massive sky roof right on top, and they're claiming it to be the biggest in this segment. It just goes on and on and on, and it's quite huge. You're right behind the steering wheel. It looks like one long screen in front, but there are two screens here. The partition is not really visible. Where you see this light blinking, that's where exactly the partition is. So I switch on the car, that's where you have one of the screens and the other one is right behind the steering wheel. Now this is obviously a touch screen along with that. This panel over here, basically this is the wireless charging port, and as soon as you keep your phone over here, it starts to charge. You get cameras all around the car and you're also getting a 3D image of the car. Basically, there is a button right here, you press on it and the cameras will come on the screen. Now, here is basically where the 3D image of the car is. If I press on the left, it gives me a view of the left side of the car. If I press on the right, it gives me a view of the right side of the car. If I press in front, it's the view in front, and if I press at the back, it's the view at the back. If I've given the left indicator, there is a camera which will come on right in front. This is a different view than the one you saw before this. Here, this is basically the blind spot towards the left of the car, which you can't see through the ORVM. If I give the right indicator, this is now the view to my right. You just need to navigate through these buttons over here and then look up top. So you have drive info, then you have fuel info. If you go to this one, it'll tell you what range is left. It'll tell you what average you're getting per liter of fuel. You can go further into vehicle info, and it's giving us the tire pressure for each tire. There is some error in the bottom right tire. So this driver assistance system, the ADAS, which Mahindra has been talking about, everyone's been talking about it, which is there in the XUV700. I'm going to essentially focus on the lane assist system, which is a part of ADAS. What that means is that if you see these broken white lines on the road, which basically demarcate different lanes, if you choose any one lane, the car will drive within that lane. It will not go out of that lane, and I don't need to touch the steering wheel for that. I just set the speed and it will move as per that. Now, obviously, these are Indian roads. Anyone can come from anywhere. Let's see if the car is able to keep us safe. I'm going to start moving the car. I've set our speed at 31 kilometers an hour. Okay, now I'm letting it go. The road is visibly curving in front of us, and if you see, the steering wheel is also turning along with it. I'm not touching it. A cart which is parked in front, I want to see whether the car recognizes it and stops in time. I'm not pressing the brakes. Okay, the car has stopped, and there we go. It has stopped completely. I'm going to turn out of this lane, get into the center lane now, and let the cruise control take over once again. Steering wheel is moving as per requirement, keeping us within that lane. Let me try and increase the speed to 40 kilometers an hour. I feel a little bit of a jolt. The car is speeding up, matching that speed. We're at 39 as of now, and we're moving within the lane. Now, there is a traffic light in front. Let's see if the car obviously stops in time. It wants me to keep my hands on the steering wheel. So again, it's lane assist, it's not self-driving. Let's see if the car recognizes the speed breaker. Okay, there it's recognized a car. Okay, it didn't see the speed breaker. It is not recognizing a roundabout if we hit one. I'll have to steer myself. And if a vehicle comes speeding from any of the sides, I can't expect the car to suddenly brake. It can recognize the car in front, not any car or two-wheeler coming from either side. There is a Renault X app along with the car, which you can basically, for each car, you will get a password and you will get a login. This app is going to give you all the information you need. So like if I started my trip from Gurgaon and I came up till Noida, it's going to tell me, the entire route that I took, how much distance I've traveled till now. It will also give me details about where I am right now. And apart from that, if I need more details about the car, it will give me all of that as well. As in when the car comes on, if someone switches it on, I'll get an update through the app. Too many things happening. If anyone's a tech geek, you will enjoy using this app. So if you're going to opt for a car like this, I feel you should be totally well versed with what all this car offers. Secondly, lane assist sounds very good on paper. It's nice, but मतलब इंडिया में लेन ड्राइविंग का कॉन्सेप्ट नहीं है, सो आप लेन असिस्ट का क्या ही करने वाले. ओवरऑल, इफ यू हैव अबाउट more than 20 lakhs to spare on a car with a lot of technology and a good driving experience, it will give you all of that. This is the XUV700. Too much technology, you won't use all of this, but overall a fun car to drive.
Now, when we talk about technology, we also like to talk about crypto. And at Business Today, we've been talking about crypto all year long, especially at the Business Today Crypto Conclave, the first of its kind, such an event of this scale, getting all the stakeholders from the crypto community under one roof. Now, I moderated and hosted a couple of sessions over there, and we spoke about crypto tax, brain drain, and the blockchain. Here's a glimpse of my day.
The biggest conversation in the cryptoverse has been, and we've discussed this on our shows, that should a regulation have come before the announcement of a 30% tax? But let's operate from a tech perspective with last in, first out. That's how I believe we should start. And the recent clarification from the government coming in, talking about Well, the fact that even when you are elucidating about the crypto tax, the fact, Badri, that you cannot offset the losses made from one virtual asset with the income generated from another. This, in many ways, seems like taking one step forward and then two steps back.
Thanks, Ayush. And it does seem very excessive, isn't it? Because it's one thing to say that you have cryptocurrencies as a separate asset, different from capital asset, different from business income, and you want to tax it. It's altogether a completely different thing to say that will not give any set-off of any losses. It is like, I always say, heads I win, tails you lose kind of a situation with cryptocurrency. Okay, so so that's a clarification which has come from the ministry. Of course, it will be tested legally because it's an interpretation or a situation that they have come up with. I'm sure lawyers will find creative ways to come up with solutions around it.
Whenever I speak to the crypto community and tech enthusiasts on our show Tech Today, there's always this chatter about brain drain when it comes to the crypto community. Essentially, a lot of young, talented people are finding more favorable jurisdictions to go set up their business, be it Singapore, be it Luxembourg. We've seen this happen with companies listing abroad in the past, and now it's happening in the crypto space. Why are India's youngest, brightest minds looking overseas when it comes to really innovating in the crypto space?
Yes, there is a brain drain happening. People are leaving. People do want to set up in places where there are better opportunities, better regulatory sort of infrastructure. And I think the problem is, I don't know whether it's just with India or whether it's global. I mean, firstly, in India, we have to realize that blockchain technology, we're not building for India, we're building for the world. It doesn't need to be built in India. We feel proud when we have an Indian origin CEO of global companies, but those CEOs are not here setting up companies in India. There's a reason for that. And I think part of the reason is that the older generation doesn't get it. See, innovation, great ideas, revolution is almost the exclusive playground of the youth. And when somebody is a CEO of a company, they don't trust the youth because they don't understand it. When the internet was coming about, some of the best ideas about how to use the internet and how to make it work for you came from interns. But CEOs don't want to listen to interns because, hey, what's your pay grade? What's mine? Why should I listen to you? So we're always going to be on the back foot with this. And it becomes even worse when you're part of government because I don't want to lose control. Decentralization means that I can actually authenticate every single voter. Do I really want to do that? It means I have to authenticate and not pass the buck on every single financial transaction with every single financial institution. Am I in a system or am I in a place where I want to allow that? Or do I want a little skullduggery going on? So we're in a very, very gray area. And the best ideas aren't necessarily in blockchain. They aren't necessarily coming from IIMs and IITs. They're coming from small towns and villages at hackathons where people are just coming up with great ideas and great use cases on how to use technology, any technology, whether it's blockchain or otherwise, and how to apply it on day-to-day things. But these ideas aren't coming to the forefront because of just the way we are as people. We're mistrustful. We believe that people who earn less than us aren't worth listening to or shouldn't be listened to. And if we're in control, we don't want to relinquish control. So we're in a bit of a strange sort of space.
Well, technology can make your lives easier sometimes. It can also make your lives a whole lot complicated. It can be boring. It can also be cool. But who says it can't be fun? We're going to leave you with evidence of the fact that it can be cool and fun, and it can make a billionaire dance as well. Have fun. See you soon. Adios.
If you like the video, do like, comment, share and subscribe.